Thank you for your time.
Of course, of course.
Yes. Did you enjoy the massage?
Yes, I did. Yes,
You
I
did?
did.
You did?
Yes,
Cool,
I did.
cool,
Head to toe healing, the experience.
Yes, yes. So, thank you for coming on the show. My name is Erick. Just to introduce myself, guys. I'm starting a new show on YouTube where I'm trying to provide a platform for other entrepreneurs in a relaxed setting where they can talk about their business. So, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Gilrios, and I am an award-winning filmmaker, professional filmmaker, and filming is my life. It's what I love to do.
Nice, nice.
And I'm also an activist.
Oh, in what way? What are some projects you've done?
I help nonprofit organizations. So one is Totality of a Woman, that deals with women's mental health, men's mental health, and kids' mental health.
Okay.
So I shot a promo for them, and so the promo was for the launch of their organization. Correct. And that in turn landed on Fox. So that's how I got the Fox credit. So,
but I heard that you landed some projects in some other platforms.
Yes.
What are some of those?
Rolling Stone.
Okay.
The Village Voice, the Source Magazine, Fox, as I just mentioned, yes. Hot 97,
cool.
And BuzzFeed.
You mentioned that during the massage, Hot 97. How was that?
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Hot 97 was cool. I started working with an artist named OnStar, and we became really good friends. OnStar's been a while now, been in Canon.
Nice.
He did Roxanne, and he's done a lot of stuff. He's also the generation leader of a dance called Light Feet. And Light Feet is like worldwide, and it started in Harlem. So nice. That's a big movement that he's in. So me and him were in some networks and some events, and we collabed. So we started doing music. So one of the songs we did was Go Crazy for BLM. So that was dope. And we did it in the Wall Street area, which was Abolition Park. And Abolition Park was not too long ago, and it was in the City Hall area, and they had graffiti on the floor, they had camps that were staying there, they had a health facility, they had a fucking bodega. Like, they were ready for everything, and they were living there because they wanted to let people know that police brutality is a real situation. Yeah. So they were hanging out there, and after the video, they took us on a whole tour, which I videoed, but I didn't put it out yet. Yeah. And that was interesting. So we shot the freestyle there. They welcomed us, and they allowed us to film there. Yeah, they had guards and everything. And yeah, it was serious. So like a week later, Hot 97 reaches out to OnStar, and they're like, yo, we like what you did. Can we put this on our platform? Do we have your permission? And OnStar was like, yeah, of course. So OnStar gave him, Hot 97 gave OnStar the credit, and they posted me as the videographer. So that's how I got the Hot 97 credit.
Nice.
So it's all about networking. Yeah. So it doesn't just happen like that. It's it can either happen through a blessing, which was a Hot 97 thing, right, that way, or it could be the artist knows someone. Yeah. Which leads me to the Rolling Stone credit. The Rolling Stone credit was, do you guys know who Casey is? Casey Gain? The Mighty Casey? You know who the Mighty Casey is?
I do not.
All right? Okay. You guys ever heard the song, White Girls Running Through My Mind, something like a phenomenon? Don't call Minister Farrakhan, white girl. So anyway,
I didn't listen to it.
Yeah, okay, so it was a song from back in the day. So he was the same artist. So me and him did a song called I Got That Weed. So obviously the song is about weed. Yeah. So he was like, yo, Gil, man, I need your help. I want to shoot this music video called I Got That Weed. Yo, can you come through? So I was like, all right. So we filmed it, and we went to Washington Square Park, and we went to somebody's house, and a bunch of weed all over the place. We had a guy dressed up as like a big marijuana leaf, and he was like dancing.
Just dancing.
Yeah. So he performed with that, and we had like a guitarist. The guitarist came from the bottom of the kitchen, and he was like,
he raised on the floor.
Yes. So it was a fun video, man. So the music video was a lot of fun. So come to find out, Casey knew a journalist
Right.
that worked in the Rolling Stone.
Mm.
So he was like, yo, I need a favor. I need you to do this write-up for me. So the dude was like, yeah, no doubt, let's do it. So he wrote the write-up, and they showed the music video. So that's how I got the Rolling Stone credit.
Nice.
So it's all about networking,
yeah.
and just trusting the process. Trusting the process.
So what would be some advice that you would give to other people, other entrepreneurs, even just people who are just trying to make videos? Like, for those who are trying to seek it as a career, what advice would you give them?
If they're trying to seek videography as a career?
Yes.
If you're trying to seek videography as a career, the first thing I would say is start doing videos for your friends. Start doing whatever it is, whether it's music videos, whether it's comedy sketches, whatever field you want to do, start with your friends. Start with people that you feel comfortable with, because that's going to allow you to learn. Because you're going to make mistakes. So
it's raw.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're gonna learn with that process. You're gonna, okay, this sucks, I gotta improve that. So you're gonna start making a list of things, and you're gonna get to a level to where you're gonna be comfortable shooting for your first client.
Okay.
So I would say do that and learn your craft. Learn your craft. Whether it's massaging, whether it's videos, whether it's rapping, you have to learn. So be a student of whatever you're trying to get into, because knowledge is
that I know that I can charge a certain amount, but if it's like up and coming artists and people like that, then I'll charge accordingly. That's why I always say, what's your budget? And I'll try to work around your budget, because I don't want people to think like I'm bougie and stuff like that. Because the thing is, like, when and Jay Dallas could attest to this, like, when they look at my Instagram and they see all those accolades, they automatically get scared. Like, oh my God, it's gonna like overcharge me. When that's not the case. Like, I'll work around their budget, and I'm like, listen, I understand, because I was once there.
Recording. So you were mentioning how, in terms of knowing your craft,
you have to study your craft. Yeah.
Yes. So now, would you say, during the massage, you mentioned how you're self-taught. Now, would you say everyone should go for that? Or would you say they should go to school? Or first give self-teaching a try first?
That is a very good question. The reason why I am self-taught is because I couldn't afford to go to film school. So that kind of like forced me to be self-taught. And it come to find out, it was a gift that was given to me. Like, It was a gift from the universe, and I just happened to be good at film.
Yeah.
And I was actually, the thing is, I knew the terms. No, I knew how to do it, but I didn't know the terms of film.
Right.
So I would block a scene, meaning blocking a scene is just a fancy word for saying choreograph. How are we gonna choreograph the scene? Okay, Eric, you're gonna come from here. Yeah. You're gonna slam this table. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna throw the fruit basket at Jay Dollars. And, you know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna sit down and you're gonna pop. So that's how you would.
That's how you block out.
That's how you block a scene.
But for you just.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that term, but I knew what blocking a scene was. I'm like, oh, you're gonna come there. So as I started learning, I was like, oh, so this is called blocking a scene. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. So to answer your question, it depends on the person. Okay. It depends on the person. Not everybody can be self-taught. Some people actually need a professor, and they need that guidance. That guidance. Right. And others don't. So it really depends on the person. Find out what best works for you.
So do you feel like it was your want for becoming a filmmaker that became your guidance? Because again, you gave thanks to YouTube University.
YouTube University. Yeah. Shout out to YouTube, man. YouTube University. And I did that.
Yeah, no, and I was just like, that's dope. And it's like, I've tried watching YouTube videos, and in terms of for massage therapy, they're not that interesting. But with you, how did you know what you needed to know? Because in school, they kind of got everything broken down. This is what you need to know in terms of filmmaking. So when you was learning, Like, how did you know what you need to know to become a successful filmmaker that you are now?
Well, I would just look up things that I sucked at.
Okay.
So, for example, one was composition. I didn't know when to do a close-up. I didn't know when to do a wide shot. I just did not know.
Right.
So I looked it up. So I looked at composition and stuff like that. And there were people that explained composition. Like, this is when you do a close-up. This is when you do a wide shot. It's to establish a scene.
Right.
You want to let people know where people are first before you start jumping in to closer compositions. And if you want to make a point, like if you're trying to really make a point at something, then you would do a nice close-up, because the purpose is you don't want no distractions. You want the audience to be focused on your point. So these are things that I learned through YouTube University. Shout out to YouTube. So that was something that I learned, and then and other stuff too. How to block scenes, lighting,
right.
How to light up a scene for a mood, depending on if it's serious or whatever. So not to get too deep into it, because it can't.
No. No, I don't think it's boring, but I just think that if you're trying to tell a story, you can take a picture and with your skill tell a different story. And that's dope.
Exactly.
And,
so
yeah,
that was what I looked up, and then eventually it got to a point where one person would teach a few different things. He would go through a few different subjects, so you stick to that person. The people I learned from was Philip Bloom,
okay,
Final Cut King, YC,
nice.
I think it's YC Imaging, and he YC Imaging does music videos.
Okay.
So he'll tell you how to shoot a music video where it looks interesting, it's not boring, it's not. So I learned. So these are the people I watch videos from people that can literally run circles around me.
Okay.
Like that'll crush me in a competition. And I think everyone should do the same thing.
Right.
If you want to learn acting, follow actors that will literally crush you in an acting scene, because these are the people that are going to teach you what you need to know.
Right.
And that's what I did.
Oh, cool. So, this year we had COVID. How did that affect you?
It affected me in the beginning.
Okay.
I did not lose clients, but I didn't get as much clientele. So that kind of messed up my business a little bit, but I had to get creative. So what I did was, somebody needed a music video, and I couldn't get close to him, and because he had a son, right. And his wife was a nurse, so I didn't want to get COVID, and I didn't want to give COVID to her, and so I said to myself, "Yo, why don't we do it remotely?" And he was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "We shoot a music video remotely. Let me see your house." So we FaceTimed, and I was like, "All right, this is my kitchen, this is my thing, this and that."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, so cool." So I gave him a shot list. So I was like, "All right, so I'm gonna send you the shot list, and you're gonna film what I have here." So he did it. He filmed everything like I told him.
What was on that list?
Okay, so
because you can't just say list and just leave it. Yeah.
Good question. This is a good interview, man. You're onto something here.
That's like I said. Okay, what's the list?
One of the lists was I wanted him to, because the thing is, the theme of the music video was. The song was actually about COVID. So I said, "Yo, why don't you do the music video in your apartment with your phone, not with a professional camera? So that'll make it more believable." So one of the things we did was he laid out on his bed, like he laid out on the floor flat, and I was like, "Yo, I want you to lay on the floor flat, and I want you to have the camera on you like this, and I want you to do a performance." And another one was in his DJ, because he's a professional DJ. So one was the DJ equipment in the background while he's doing the music video to show that he does, DJing. Another one was in his kitchen. Another one was in his window. So he's like kind of like depressed, like so he's doing a performance like depressed.
Yeah.
So these were the.
And he probably with one hand like
exactly.
Right.
So he's like that. So and then another performance was him holding a Wu-Tang sign. Like with the Wu symbol on the microphone, because one of the references was made to Wu-Tang. So he was like, "We used to protect your neck, now it's protect your lungs." So that's why he had the Wu symbol there. So it was just different things. So the shot list was pretty much like that.
Right.
Just being creative, because it's in one
cool.
room.
Right.
So I was like, how can we make this interesting? So shooting on the floor, shooting in the kitchen, shooting on the window,
right?
Shooting in the microphone and stuff like that. So different things. So that way I could keep the performances moving, and we did a lot of B-roll. So I had to get real creative.
What is B-roll?
Okay, so B-roll is what you put on top of the performance.
Okay.
Other footage, right? So your A-roll is the main performances. That's like your main meat and potatoes. And then the B-roll is what you put on top of it to enhance what he's saying. So if he's talking about Trump, I will put an image of Trump.
Right.
If he's talking about, for example, he's talking about toilet tissue and paper. So I had a guy with like a whole bunch of toilet tissues and he's like squeezing. So that's what I would put.
The words he's speaking, you're giving a visual illustration to
exactly, and that's what we call in the film world B-roll.
Okay.
So we did that, and it was real good. It landed on So the video we put for film festivals, and then it landed on the Hip Hop Film Festival. That was one of the festivals we entered in.
Right.
So that was a blessing. And the Hip Hop Film Festival was like big in New York City. So that was cool. And it also landed in the Liftoff Film Festival. So that was, and the Liftoff Film Festival, they have a New York chain, they have a London chain, they're all over the world.
Right.
So
we landed put on a platform that was worldwide.
Yeah, pretty much. So that was a blessing.
That's dope. Yeah.
So I took advantage of COVID.
Yeah, no.
So I had the thing is you got to adapt.
Right.
You got to adapt to the time. So I was like, yo, let's just do it remotely.
You got to be creative.
And that's what we did.
That's the key to filmmaking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what would you say was the most, before COVID, what would be the most challenging problem that you had facing and reaching not your dream, the goal of becoming a filmmaker? Like, what was a hard time? Or did you ever want to quit? First answer that. Did you ever want to quit?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. It gets discouraging because the whole point of a business is obviously you love doing it, but you want to make money.
Correct.
And there were certain points. You knows where I'm going. So there were points where the thing with a freelance filmmaker is there's highs when everything is going so well and it's almost like a movie. Push it to the limit. You're doing like bad customers. And you're like,
you up here.
You make the money and like, hello, all my money. But then,
wait, my phone is in this hand. What is this?
But the thing is, then you have low points where you're not making as much money. And when I have those low points, there's only a few people I could go to, and one of them is Jay Dallas, who's saying it off camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, Jay Dallas, it's not going well. Yo, man, I'm gonna quit, man. I had it, man. I can't do this no more. And he would say, real calm, yo, big dog, just relax, man. It's gonna pick up again. and he's right.
Right.
So that would be, to answer your question, that would be one of the things that discouraged me, getting to those low points. But the thing is, I love what I do so much, it pushes through that low point.
Right.
And
you just ride it out because you know.
You have to ride it out, and you have to be positive, and you can't let negativity discourage you. Negative thoughts, a negative being. Doing what I do, you can't have those emotions because you will wind up quitting. I know a lot of filmmakers that quit because they just couldn't do it no more. And I'm blessed to have not given up.
So, outside of that, in terms of dealing with trials and tribulations, for example, when I first time became an entrepreneur, the first hard thing that I went through was falling behind on bills. Because, if I'm not working, I don't get paid. When you go to work, when you work for someone else, when you're not working, you're still on the clock. So I had to learn how to make things happen when I didn't have nothing. That was something I learned as a skill. So for you, when you went through trials and tribulations, or like wherever it was difficult, like what did you learn and how did you get over it?
My trials and tribulations? Well, My trials and tribulations would be not having the equipment I needed to do certain shoots, because you needed a certain level of camera, you needed a certain level of audio, and when I was first starting out, I didn't have that. I just had my creativity and I had like my little camera. So that's something I had to like plow through, and I kind of had to like get over it.
But how? How did you do it?
I started doing music videos. And music videos really helped me a lot because I was able to film with the camera I had, which is a Canon T2i. Shout out to Canon,
I love your energy, yo.
Shout out to Canon, man.
I love it, yo.
So with my little Canon T2i, I was able to do music videos, man. And like I said, when you're doing music videos, you learn so many different aspects of film, because when you're shooting music videos, you're shooting an artist who's doing performances like an actor does. He wants to do a story. Yo, I want to do a story with my music video. I want to make my song come to life. So again, you're doing Hollywood style not Hollywood style acting, but you're doing a story just like Hollywood does to tell their story, to put it on a film so people can watch it. The same concept. You're shooting a music video, you're shooting a story for your audience so they can see the music and then in turn buy the music.
Right.
So it all made sense. So I was doing the same thing that Hollywood does, just on a smaller scale. So that's how I learned film, and that's how I was able to do music videos. That's how I was able to make my money to buy the equipment I needed.
Nice.
So I owe a big part of my success to music videos. That's why I still do music videos to this day. It's almost like a stand-up comic. When a stand-up comic he starts out on stand-up comedy, and then he gets so popular, he moves on to film, but he still does stand-up comedy because that's where he started. That was his first love. That was his first child. So, for example, Kevin Hart, he still does stand-up, even though he doesn't need to anymore. But he does it because that was his first baby.
Yeah.
And music videos is my baby.
So you will always make music videos?
I will always make music videos, no matter. And I want to do Hollywood films. I am going to do Hollywood films. And even when I do that, when I'm in my off time, I'm going to help an artist who needs my help the most, who needs a real production, and someone or a director that has a name. And I want to be that provider for that artist.
Wow. I'm going to have you talk to Chinese. Because I'm not an artist, but I do like creativity. And I wouldn't mind a music video for my business. Just say it. No.
There you go. So to answer your question, I had to shoot music videos in order to make the money so I can get the equipment I needed. And that took away that frustration and the lack of I had to help my business.
Right. So just being patient and waiting for you to reach those goals, and just when you was taking those baby steps, you mastered those baby steps. And then you moved on because you had the money to afford the equipment. And then once you got that equipment, you was able to move on to doing bigger performances or better projects.
Yes.
And then you mastered that.
Yes.
So what's your next thing that you plan on mastering?
Right now I'm currently doing docuseries.
Okay.
So I'm doing a docuseries called Faces of Unidentifiable Disabilities. So it's a project that entails kids that have disabilities that you can't see. They have ADD. They have, the project I'm doing is these kids that have a condition called auditory processing disorder, which means that they can listen to things, but they can't retain them. So they need to go to special classes, they need special attention, they need to do special projects in order to combat that condition.
Right.
So
they can retain information.
Exactly. So the project is about them and their story, but it's also about the parents talking about the conditions that their kids have and the stuff they have to go through. Like one of the things is medication. The doctors want them to do so much. He has ADD. Give him pills. Yeah. Auditory processing disorder. Give them pills. Pills
versus sitting down and actually trying to help them figure out.
So these are some of the main topics that we discussed in this docuseries.
Right.
And we did a trailer for it, and it's gotten rave reviews, and we're starting to put together the second episode. The first episode's already done.
Okay.
So Another thing I'm doing is I'm working with the Shakur family. I'm working with Tupac's family.
Yeah.
And we're doing a documentary for Mutulu Shakur, who is a political prisoner. And we're doing a project for him, and we're doing pretty much the project of his life. What did he do when he was when he was growing up?
Right.
What was he into? And we're talking about his case and things like that. Not talking about his case, but we're going to go into some of the lies that were told about his case, because he's an innocent man. He hasn't convicted any crime whatsoever.
Right, and to get his story out will probably help him get his freedom.
Exactly. So we're interviewing people that were involved in his life. So I'm working close with the Shakur family, and I'm blessed and honored to be a part of that project. That's a blessing.
How does that play on your emotions? I literally just asked that because for me, that's deep.
It is.
Yeah.
It is deep. It's almost like it's something I have to do. It's one of those projects where you have to see it through. It can't fall through the cracks because the project is just so important. So you got to be in your A game. You have to make sure that the project gets the love and attention it needs. And to answer your question, it's very emotional.
Yeah.
It's very emotional, and it's already an emotional ride.
Yeah. Nah. This right now, I could just only imagine because you still got to be creative, and the creativity seems like it comes from your heart.
Yes.
So with that being so deep, and then you already tapping into your heart just so that you could be creative, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. So we've gone to Washington, we've gone to Brooklyn, Queens. We're gonna go to the other side of the United States, and we're gonna continue filming it. And it's a really dope project so far.
Nice.
So shouts out to the Shakur family, man. They're really good people.
Appreciate that.
I've been filming for a long time. Like, this is not just like some first thing. Like, we've been filming for years.
Right.
So, and the real thing was, he paid for an artist to feature on the record.
Right.
So the artist is like, well known as a legend. You know what I'm saying? So I guess he just wanted to make sure everything went right. But he kind of like, you know.
He came at you the wrong way.
Yeah, he came at me the wrong way.
Yeah. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah, exactly.
For the demographic of being able to work in my own community, be able to service people in my own community. Then when I realized that could work, but it won't help me exactly reach the goals in the time that I want to. So I decided to come up with creating experiences for people and then charging for that experience plus the massage. Now in terms for you, when you decide on pricing and you're doing music videos or a documentary, how do you come up with your pricing? Especially for those who may have a hard time.
Having a hard time as far as entrepreneurs are concerned?
As an entrepreneur, yeah.
Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur and you're in film, which is my field,
right,
you have to do two things. Number one, you have to charge according to your skill level. You have to charge according to your skill level. That's so important. Because if you're trying to do a professional music video for an artist that has 38,000, 50,000 followers and you don't produce, then that can hurt your business and that can hurt your name in that business. So always charge according to your skill level. That's number one. Number two, you have to charge according to the person's budget. Because if they're an up-and-coming artist, you can't charge them $2,000-$3,000 because they may not have it. But I'm not telling you to charge dirt cheap either.
Right.
You try to find a medium. And that's why I always say, what's your budget? Oh, my budget is so-and-so. Okay, you know what? I can't do that, but I can do this. And they're like, okay. So you're meeting them halfway.
Right.
So you're not killing them. And if it's an artist that's established, then you charge your rates.
Right.
So that's how I personally deal with it. And right now I'm at a level to where my number one, which is the skill level, right now I'm at a level to where I can charge anybody anything, because I literally can do a professional music video. I can do a professional documentary. I can do a professional commercial. So I charge if they've got the budget, then I can charge what I'm worth because I know I can produce.
What gave you that confidence?
That's a good question. My confidence comes from my accomplishments. So when I did my first professional commercial and I got the awesome feedback, then that let me know, okay, I can keep continuing to do this type of level of work, charging this level of prices because of the feedback.
Who was it that gave you that feedback?
The clients. The clients gave me the feedback.
Okay, right.
And the people that saw the video. Whoever saw the video
always came back to you.
Came back and was like, yo, this is really good. Oh my God, damn, dog, the quality, this and that, yo, it's so clear. So that gave me the confidence. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're watching this, take heed to the compliments you get. Because if there are nothing but good compliments, then you can continue to charge or even up your price a little bit because you're producing great work.
Right.
But if you're an entrepreneur and you're not getting those compliments and they're like, well, this is that, don't take it as hate. Take it as a lesson.
Criticism.
Because take it as criticism. Because these are the things that you need to improve. So
right.
That's what I get. That's
how you got that confidence.
Yeah, that's how I got the confidence.
Yeah. So you don't let that get to your head.
What do you mean?
The fact that you're that good.
No, because I can always learn something new.
You said that. You was mentioning how during the massage you were you was out and then the young man was showing you how just waving it from side to side.
Right. So I'll go back to that story. So I was shooting music videos, and I was shooting music videos on tripods, just doing different performances, doing composition, close-ups, wide range, and stuff like that. So we was out in the street, right? And this group, because I was filming for rappers that were in a rap group, right? So they brung out the whole block. They had 50 to 60 kids. They flooded the street. Cars couldn't even pass by. And I was doing that same thing. So one of the main rappers goes, yo, Gil, man, I'm gonna shoot you how to do music videos. I'm gonna shoot you how we the youth. I'm gonna tell you how we shoot music videos.
He came with the energy.
So I was like, all right, so show me. Again, being a student, even though I knew so much already, I was always willing to learn something new. So I was like, all right. So I was like, yo, take it out of there, man. Yo, you gotta move it like this, Gil. You gotta move it like this, man. Because, it's gonna make us look lit, man. It's gonna make us fire, Gil. Like, come on. Like, he said it was so much emotion. Like, yo, come on, man. Like,
you slacking.
Yeah. So I did that.
Right.
And it took my music videos to a whole new level. And this came from someone who wasn't even 20 years old yet. So it goes to show you, even though he wasn't in my field of film, he was shooting music videos and he was shot by younger kids that were doing something new. And I, in other words, I became the student.
Right.
And never be ashamed to be the student. No matter what you're doing, no matter how high you are in your field, always become a student. I'm always a student. So to answer your question, no, I never think I'm too good because there's always something to be learned.
Keep that humility.
You have to.
Yeah, nice. So what motivates you to keep on? Like when you wake up in the morning and it's just like you gotta start your day and you gotta start filming. Like when you don't want to do it, what says we're gonna do it though?
The love I have for my field. I love filming so much. I love it to the point where it's almost like it's my fiance and film. That's the level of love you have to love for that's the level of love you have to have for your craft.
Because even when you don't want to, and then plus with you being an entrepreneur, you saying that you want to do is like you not going to work, which helps pay your bills. So by keeping that love strong, I got one. How do you protect the love that you have for film?
That's a good question. How do I protect the love I have for film? Always have fun with it. always have fun I always have fun with what I'm doing. To me, it's not work. It's not work because I love to do it. So it's almost like if I'm doing a professional commercial for like a client, I have fun with it. Okay, so I'll interview the person and I'll say, okay, what is your business about? What are your accolades? What's, and then I'll say, loosen up, relax, and you know, what's your biggest accomplishments? What do you want out of this commercial? Like, what do you want to accomplish? Like, what's the goal? And we start to have a real conversation, and then they'll let loose. So it doesn't feel like work. It's almost like I'm having a conversation with a friend that's trying to accomplish something for his business.
Right.
So it's always important to talk to whoever you're talking to, whether it's a client, whether it's a friend. But if it's a client, someone said this, don't see through them, look at them. And that's I think it's important. Never look through someone.
Right.
Look at the person.
Acknowledge them.
It goes a long way. It does.
Sound like you about to give me relationship advice.
I've learned so much doing this, man. I've learned so many things, man.
This is really awesome. I appreciate you even spending more time. So, what would be the ultimate I made it project for you? Like, this is my legacy. When you're gone and people think about like a nice old baby kids, that's just an example. Like, that's a classic. So like, what would be a project that you will want that when people think of, they'll say, oh, you remember? Oh yeah, they get excited when they talk about it. What would be that project for you?
It would be a docuseries. It wouldn't be a narrative.
Okay.
It would be a docuseries, and it would be a docuseries that helped change the course of whatever field that I shoot the documentary for. So if it's about homelessness, I would like that project to be seen, and therefore systems will be created to help homelessness.
Right.
Systems will be created, organizations, and a movement would start where homelessness will be lessened in the United States, and it'll all be through that film. In my opinion, that would be my legacy.
Nice. You. Yes, I get what you. Yeah, you want to encourage passion so that people act.
Yeah, because I'm an activist also.
Right, which is what you said in the beginning.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're gonna wrap it up on that because that was a good. How we started is how we ended. So we're gonna leave it right there. But man, I really appreciate you, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me, man. This
it was awesome. And I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something because the fact that I want to do a funny massage video. I don't care. I've been telling Shanice about it. I literally. It's all just because I'm just silly and I want to put my personality in my business. And I want to put my business on the internet.
Fine.
So,
Fine.
yeah. So, thanks again. And till next time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
HeadToToeHealing.
Yep.
You always got to be hot. So they're figuring out different creative ways. And as long as you got to listen to it, they'll show you because that's what they're excited to show everybody.
Exactly. And it was a moment for me to like, just because they're not in my field doesn't mean I can listen. And a lot of people don't listen. A lot of people think they know everything and they're not willing to take in information.